Hey, good morning guys. Welcome to the First Time Gardener. So this morning, I'm excited. We're up early. We're heading over to Rural King. I'm going to get some stuff to amend the soil in our gardens. And I'm going to bring you along this morning, see what we get. I know I want to get some peat moss. I need to get some potting soil or some raised bed soil, and I got to get a bag of 10-10-10 fertilizer, and I'm going to get a couple of food grade buckets because I got something we're going to do this morning. For you guys that might not have a large area in your backyard, or maybe you live in an apartment complex and you have a little balcony and you want to grow some potatoes, because today we're planting some potatoes. So I want to show you a different method for the people that don't have a large area of room in order to grow potatoes, and you can do a very nice yield from just a 5-gallon bucket. So besides planting in the ground in our earth bed, I'm going to do 2 buckets as well, so that we can follow along and come to the point when we harvest them, show you what you can actually get out of a 5-gallon bucket. So that's the deal today. We're going to go up and pick some material up. We're going to go back to the house, go out in the garden. I'm in the Big Beast today, so sorry for the noise. It's a diesel engine. It makes a little noise on the way running around. So anyway, stick around. It's going to be an exciting day today. Look at all those bales of hay. They just cut these fields the other day. Sun's coming up. What a beautiful morning, guys. I've got 2 bundles of peat moss, 2.2 cubic feet bags. I've got 2 bags of garden soil, 2 cubic foot each. Look at this. 10-10-10 fertilizer, $21.99. That's for 40 pounds. We need that, so we're going to get it. I got some at home, but I'm not going to have enough to do that. All right, let's going to walk down this aisle and see what we got here. You guys need some chickens. They got all kinds of chickens, hens, roosters, all babies. Okay guys, last stop. We're going to load up 10 bags of compost cow manure. So this is what we're getting right here. So I don't know how this does to black cow, but we have 2 beds that are virgin soil. So I just want to get some matter in there, if nothing else. This only has 10% manure, 90% they say forest compost. Okay guys, well, that does it for Rural King. You got to shop around just like any place else. They do have some good prices, and some prices you can get a little cheaper somewhere else. But I got pretty much everything I need. From here, we're going to head over to Lowe's, get a couple things over there, and then head home, and that's when the work begins. All right guys, just a little update. So I stopped at Tractor Supply It's in Leesburg, right across from Rural King. Rural King is right over there across the street. So they didn't have food grade 5-gallon buckets. It's important to make sure that it's food grade buckets, because you don't want any whatever is in these plastics to leach into your dirt and then of course absorb into your food. So always make sure. So you can see we have food grade, heavy duty, BPA free. So that's paint, food and beverage, agricultural inspected. So it's good for pickling. If you're going to do pickles, it's good for growing vegetables in, storing your feed and all that stuff. So, but anyway, all right, now we're going to head over to Lowe's. I got to get some bone meal and some black cow. All right guys, bone meal, that's what we're looking for right there. It's a root development product, so it's going to be a little bit more on the developing roots. So you're going to get phosphate. The other blood meal that I have is more of your organic nitrogen. All right, let's go look for the other black cow. Black cow is my to-go-to as far as cow manure. We got 10 bags of Simple Garden cow manure at the other place, Rural King, but I'm using that in a virgin soil just to have some compost put in there, basically have organic matter and mixed in with the soil, and I'm going to do a deep mix with that. But our top layers that we're going to actually be growing in, we're going to use the peat moss, black cow, and 10-10-10 fertilizer and some potting soil. Okay guys, so total today in the garden about $136 that we spent. Well, actually it's actually $110 because 20 of it is light bulbs and WD-40, which is freaking outrageous. I mean, prices are gone sky high. So you know, I enjoy gardening, but it is pricey, especially when you're getting set up. This is only my second year gardening, so it costs a bit to get it going. All right, we're going to load this stuff up and head to the house and get started planting those potatoes. All right guys, we made it to the garden finally. We started off about 6:30 this morning. Went to the stores to get all of our stuff. It's like 11 o'clock now. We're just getting started over here. So here's my little section. I've debated on what to do. I was going to grow corn again here, but I think I'm just going to grow corn in the spring. So I'm going to put some potatoes in here. This soil here behind us had all grass in it just a couple weeks ago, and I turned it up. I pulled all the grass. I let it sit a week, and then I tilled it again, pulled all the weeds again. So it's, for the most part, weed free on the top right now. But because this is a virgin soil, nothing's been done to it, we definitely need to amend it a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig up. I'm going to try to dig down about that far, move the one dirt over to the other side, and then I'm going to put in this compost plus cow manure. It'll put some organic matter down that can start breaking down and build the soil up. So when you start with an area like this, it takes a couple of years of amending the soil twice a year, you know, for your fall and spring gardens, to get to the soil to where it's actually a benefit to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to layer the whole bottom of this area with this compost, and then I'm going to put the dirt on top of that, and then on top of that I'm going to amend the top 10 inches of soil with black cow, peat moss, potting soil, 10-10-10 fertilizer, and I'm going to mix all that together, and that's what we're going to plant the potatoes. And if you want to know about soil and what's a good soil in that, as far as all the bacteria and fungi and all that other stuff, I'm not the guy for that. I'm not
I'm not a biologist, I'm not a scientist, so there's a lot of other good videos out there that I've watched that kind of explain a good soil versus a bad soil. So if I find one that I just watched a little while ago, I'll link it into this video so you can watch that. So he gives a really good explanation of good soil versus bad soil and what you need to get to a good soil. So I'm going to try just to dig about a shovel and a half deep. I'm going to do one side and then flip it over and do the other side. So that's that. Now I'm going to put the what I call the cheap compost. This is only like $2.86 a bag or something. The price can tell you that it's not that great, but it puts matter into the soil. I'm just trying to make this about 3 to 4 inches deep. Four bags, that's what I'm going to put in there for this one. And I'm going to take my rake and I'm just going to rake it out just to level it off. I'm not turning it in. Okay guys, so that's it for that. Now I'm just going to turn the dirt back over onto it. And then this dirt that I'm putting on top of it, I'm going to be amending this soil as well with some other stuff. Okay, on this half do the same thing. Okay guys, just smooth that out and we're going to put some more compost in there. Yeah, I'm breathing heavy. I'm a little bit out of air. Middle of the day, working hard. So yeah, I'm a little short breath. So we'll see in a little bit. As you can see, Peggy hooked me up with some an ice towel to put around my neck because it is super hot. I had to go inside and sit down for a minute, but we're good to go now. So just like we did before, we're just going to level this off. All right, now at this point you want to try to get it as level as you can before we add more compost to it. Well, if you remember, I have a couple videos out about showing you my compost pile over there. We are going to go over there right now and get a wheelbarrow full. One, because I don't want to use it all on this one because I have some other, the other bed over there I want to use it on. So we're going to go get a wheelbarrow full of that now, put that on, and then I'm going to show you what else we're mixing with it. Okay guys, we got a wheelbarrow full of our homemade compost. There's probably 2 more wheelbarrow pulls over there. We're going to use them in this other garden. But we're going to go ahead and spread that out right now. Yeah, I think I'm going to go over and get one more. One more. I'm picking this up. All right, we're back with about a half a wheelbarrow full. I didn't want to steal it all. Okay, and you can see this is very dry right now. We're going to wet this before we put anything else on top of here. We want to get it a good saturation so that it doesn't dry out. One, this is so dry, I don't want it to pull the moisture out of the other compost and stuff that we're putting in. So I want to wet it down before we put another layer onto this garden. So our next layer is potting soil. Then we're going to put the black cow, and then we're going to turn it in. Now black cow. Going to rake it level. And I think we're going to get my, I'm going to go ahead and get my tiller. I got some 10-10-10 fertilizer. And I'm just going to sprinkle this on top. We're going to turn it all in. All right, guys, let me go get my tiller real quick. We're going to till this in, and then we're ready to plant our potatoes. Okay, guys, this we're just going to till like the top 6 inches. We're not going to go deep. Just want to incorporate all that stuff that we just put on there. Then we're going to level it out, and planting potatoes comes next. Now we're just going to level this out nice and flat, and then we're ready to plant potatoes. So you can see this about 6 foot. Actually, let's see. This is a 5 foot stick, so it's about 5 foot wide. So we're going to go like right in the middle here, and we're going to just dig down about 8 inches in here. We're going to make a trough all the way across. And I'm going to try to plant these potatoes about 10 inches apart from each other in the ground. Okay, so we got our little trough here. It's starting to rain, which that's okay. All right, so that's our little ditch, and I'm gonna do one over. I'm gonna do one over here on this side as well. And you can see I have enough room. I can split this in half and drag this part of the dirt here and this part of the dirt there up on the potatoes when they get to the point I need them to be at. All right, I'm going to go grab my 10-10-10 and my potatoes, and I'm going to show them how to plant them. All right, guys, so I got my 10-10-10. That's what I'm going to be putting down in the bottom of this. We're not doing a lot. This is just going to give something for the roots of the potato to grow into. This is slow releasing fertilizer, so it will continue to feed the roots. And we're going to put some bone meal in here too. All right, so we're just going to put that in the bottom. And that's all there is to it. And we're just going to mix it up a little bit. Okay, guys. So we got that mixed up in there. Now we're just going to cover it up. We're going to take some of this dirt and we're going to cover some of that trench up to about 3 inches. Because you don't want the potato sitting in this fertilizer that you have. You want the roots to grow into it as it grows. And the fertilizer and the bone meal both, they break down slowly, so it'll feed the plants the entire time it's growing. Our last step is to put the potatoes in. We're going to put them about 6 to 8 inches apart, and I'm going to show you them. These are ready to go in with the little knobs facing up. All right, guys, so we're just going to take our potatoes eye side up and we're going to put them in. We're going to do those about every 10 inches. Now the bigger the potato too, the more energy that's in the potato that will feed these until they get started. And then once the energy is used up from the potato, the roots will be growing into, and then it'll take it from the ground. So if you're lucky, you'll get maybe 8 to 10 potatoes, good sized potatoes like these are, from each potato. And then when you dig them up, they'll be always developing potatoes that aren't quite big enough, so you'll get some small ones too. But you should get about 8 to 10 potatoes from each of these big potatoes. I'm going to save a couple of these because I got those 5-gallon buckets. I want to show you guys how to grow them in buckets, just in case you don't have the space. We're going to grow 2 buckets full. Now these are the potatoes I cut in half that are dried skin. We're going to put the last 2 of these just to see the difference, if it makes any difference from the full potatoes to the half ones that I have cut. We'll see if one does better than the other. Okay. And then I've got these here left. We're going to put those in the buckets. Okay, guys, like I said, we're just going to cover them up now. We want about 3 inches of dirt covering the potatoes. We're just going to lightly tap it down. And then we're going to water it in real good. And we're going to let nature do its thing. In 90 days, roughly around 90 days, we'll have potatoes to harvest. All right, guys, as simple as that. All right, guys, and like I said, we're just going to water it in. I want to get everything activated. By watering it in, you're going to get rid of some of the air, and it's going to naturally compact around the potato. You don't want it hard, because potatoes do better in a soft soil. but this will eliminate some of the air that we had in there. And then we are going to come back and I'm going to give you a preview of it when they first start breaking the ground. And then we'll follow them about every 2 weeks up until harvest. All right, guys, that's going to take care of our garden plot. Next up, we're going to do the 5-gallon buckets. So this is the day after we planted the potatoes. We are going to make a potting mix up. And I'm going to show you how I make the potting mix up, and we're going to put them into our 2 buckets that we bought that were, remember, food grade buckets. You definitely need food grade buckets. So we're going to start off with mixing our potting soil, peat moss, and black cow, and you mix it in equal parts. So let me get started and show you. So I have some gardening mix here. I'm going to put it in to what I think will be enough for our planting today. We're not going to do a whole wheelbarrow full. So we got about a half a bucket, maybe 3/4 of a bucket full of that. Next we're going to add peat moss. And we're going to do about the same amount of peat moss as we did the potting soil. And then we're going to add our black cow. And I've added almost a whole bag, like 3/4 of a bag. Now, we're just going to mix it in with everything. All right, next step is your buckets. Like we said before, you want to make sure that it's a food grade bucket. You can buy them at almost all of your feed and seed supply stores. I had to go to a couple of them to get these because everybody's out, because everybody's been buying them for the season, so they were kind of running low. But anyway, I have these 2. So important, as you notice the bottoms, they don't have holes in it. You need to put holes in here so that if you're putting these outside to grow and we get several rainstorms, that your bucket doesn't fill up with water and hold water, because it will rot your potato seeds. So we are going to drill about 5 or 6 holes in the bottom of each bucket before we put our mix in. I just have a paddle bit, 3/4 of an inch, and my cordless drill, and we're going to just drill like 5 holes in each bucket. And no set pattern, just drill them around and make sure you get like one in the middle in case it funnels down, that it goes out the middle. That's what it looks like. And that's plenty of holes. And the holes, I know as they may look big, they will, potting material will cover that up so that they don't fall out. Okay, so next step, fill the buckets. Now, you want to fill the buckets about halfway full. These potatoes I'm planting, I don't know if they're determinate or indeterminate potatoes, but we are gonna do them as they grow. We're gonna keep putting soil in there until we get to about 2 inches from the top of the bucket. And then we're gonna stop and let the plant grow. Determinate potatoes basically means if you put 8 inches of soil and you plant a potato and put the soil on top of that potato is not going to grow any more potatoes above that potato. It's all going to be from the roots and that from the potato down. So indeterminate potatoes, as the plant grows up and you cover the stem with the soil, it will manifest little roots on there that will grow out and send tubers out and create more potatoes. So these are the ones I'm buying, or the ones I'm planting right now in here are from the grocery store, so I have no idea what kind of brand they are, whatever. They're just going to be red skin potatoes is all I can tell you, because that's all I know. But we're going to continue growing them, and as it grows up, we're going to put the soil around it, and we'll see once we dump the bucket out in 90 to 100 days and see how many potatoes we have, and then we'll be able to tell. So anyway, let's get the bucket. So you can see that's about halfway done. This is just 10-10-10 fertilizer. We're going to put a handful of that in there, a little more, and we're going to mix that up by hand. And we're just going to mix that up by hand. Incorporate it in there, and then we're going to get our other bucket. Going to do the same thing with this. Now this is a slow releasing fertilizer too, so it's not going to all release at one time. We're going to turn all that into what we got there. All right. And next we are going to plant the potatoes. All right guys, these are the leftover potatoes we had from when we planted earlier in the earth bed. And we are going to plant, I'm going to put 3 potatoes in each bucket. And I'm going to show you the spacing. And remember, the little tips that are going up here that are growing out, you have one on the bottom too, but you have the most of them on the top. That's going to be planted so it faces up. Now I'm going to plant one of the potatoes I have is one that I cut in half, and you can see this was the raw skin of the potato when I cut it, and now it feels like leather, and it has this one tubular growing off the top, an eye if you want to call it. We're going to put that in this bucket here as the third potato, and then I'm going to put these last 2, which is another half, this potato, plant this one, and then we're going to do this one. That's it. You can see 3 of them, 3 in each one. Now we're just going to put a shovel full. We're going to do a shovel full of soil. Maybe 3/4 of a shovel. That's a lot. We only want these things about 3 to 4 inches deep. All right. Pack it down a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit of dirt out of there. So there, we're good. So that's it. So then as the potatoes protrude through the soil and they come up, we will keep filling this with more and more soil until we get about 2 inches from the top, and then that's it. We're just going to let it grow the way it grows. We're going to be fertilizing these 2 or 3 times in this whole growth stage until it's ready to harvest. So we'll take you along the way. So the only step we got to do now is I'm going to take these buckets I am going to put them till I get about 2 or 3 inches of water on the top, and I'm going to let them soak in, and that's it. We just let them grow from there. Potatoes, you don't want to overwater them because you don't want the potato seeds sitting in a puddle of water. You want them damp and moist but not wet. So, and that's the whole reason you put the holes in on the bottom, is so that they don't do that. All right, we're going to walk these over to the garden. I'm going to show you the water I put in them, and then that'll be it for this video on planting the potatoes, and we will watch both the earth bed and these buckets on its process of growing potatoes. I'm just going to put the bucket on 2 sticks just so it's up off the ground, so it can drain out of the bucket, and that's just going to stay there until, well, it could probably even stay there even if I till the garden. All right, guys, now I'm just going to put the water in there. Then just keep going until it's about 2 inches over the soil. And that's it. I'm going to let that just drain. I'm going to do the same thing over in that corner there. I'm going to put a bucket there and do the same thing I did. Put about 2 inches of water over it. And then that's it. We're done. Okay, guys, this is going to be the end of this segment of planting potatoes. We did the earth garden, we did 2 buckets. So I hope this was interesting to you. I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll do either one or both of those things. And we're going to follow these along until they get to harvest. We planted the earth bed August 31st, and we planted these buckets today, which is a day later, September 1st. So they should be ready in approximately 70 to 90 days. And we'll show you the progress of them, and I'll show you the steps along the way of what maintenance we need to do to them as they're growing in both buckets and earth bed. All right, guys, thanks for joining in. Please give a thumbs up if you like this channel. Share it with your friends if anybody that you know is a gardener and would like to see this. And also subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel. It's a new channel. We're trying to grow it. I'm most appreciative if you do subscribe, and if you have anything to say, put them in the comments, good or bad. I read all of them. You know, I'm not opposed to learning anything. Maybe some way you guys do it might be better than the way I do it. So anyway, I appreciate your time for viewing my channel. Until we see you next time, stay safe, God bless. We'll see you on the next one.